Well, greetings and hello there, everybody. It's me, your beloved Star Wars dad, Nooch Too Good, and we're going to do something we have never done before on this channel. We're going to rank all the non-galactic legend journeys from bottom to top, from worst to first, from the lowest to the highest. We're going to take all 28, I think it's 28, all 28 non-galactic legend journeys and rank them in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. A couple of notes before we start. As I mentioned, I've never done this before, so this is a brand new endeavor for me. This was really difficult. There's 28 of them. Every journey has its value at some point of the game, and it's really when you get in the middle, especially like the early ones are pretty easy to identify, like the worst ones, and then the best ones are pretty easy to identify. Man, in the middle, there's a whole lot of overlap and mixing up and tweeners, and I kind of think we might have a really robust and interesting discussion in the comments today because I don't know, I might be missing the boat on a lot of these. But we're going to jump in, we're going to take a shot. I'm going to try not to dwell too long on every single one of these because it's 28, and if I spend like 3 or 4 minutes on each one, we'll be here for 2 hours. So let's get going. Our worst one, BB-8. I mean, you know, honestly, BB-8 doesn't really have a place in the game right now. It's been a long time since he had a place in the game. It's unfortunate. The Jedi Training Ray team's kind of gone. His journey is very easy to do. This is a very easy last place guy for me on BB-8. Grandmaster Yoda's coming in next to last for me. Again, we're going bottom to top. Grandmaster Yoda is a very, very easy journey of it, like very easy. I did it with no Gear 7 characters and even under 85. I got it done on my channel with just some random Jedi. Grandmaster Yoda is a really good character to have on like your Jedi Knight Revan team. He's got some uses in the game all the way through the end game. He's needed for a Jedi Master Kenobi, but it's just such an easy journey, and it just kind of falls there next to last. Just not a lot of splash. R2-D2 comes in next. R2-D2, of course, is required for Galactic Legend Luke, and for for Leia Organa, maybe not. He goes on Leia Organa's team. I think he's required for Leia Organa. But, you know, his journey is also very easy, and kind of he doesn't really have a spot until you start getting those 2 Galactic Legends on your roster. He doesn't really have anywhere to go on the team. So R2 coming in third to last. Coming up next, Thrawn. There was a day in the game. There was a day in the game of Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, and that day lasted for years, where Thrawn would have been very, very high on this list, where his journey was very hard, and he was very valuable, and he was one of the meta characters in the game until the great nerf of 2020 or 2019, whatever it was, and now he's just kind of a piece, a tool, and his journey with Captain Rex is very easy. And I will say one thing. Journey easy, journey hard is going to mean different things for different characters. Like an easy journey for an amazing character might rank them up higher. But yeah, your Thrawn is coming in and fourth to last here. Next up, Jedi Training Rey. Yes, she's needed for Jedi Master Luke. Yes, she's needed for Rey. No, she's not really utilized a lot in the game. She's not really utilized in 3v3 with Rey. She might be. She generally will go onto a Rey team if she's available. Otherwise, she kind of just sits on your roster. Most people aren't adding her Zetas anymore. Like, you get a Jedi Training Rey out there from an early game player, somebody's been playing the game for a long time, they're gonna have all of Rey's Zetas on there because she was a really, really important character when she came out for a couple of years, several years, and now she just kind of has gone by the wayside. It's a very easy journey. Not a lot of utility for Rey except on a Galactic Legend Rey squad. Padme comes in next. Again, not a super difficult journey. It's gotten harder as time has gone on. I had to use a Gear 12 Django to get it done. You can get her with Geos and everything. Her utility is kind of comes and goes. It ebbs and flows. Early in the game, you can put some Anakin and GK with her and Ahsoka, but then you end up replacing that with Qui-Gon Omicron. She can work well with a bunch of Galactic Republic. Almost any Galactic Republic you put with her is going to benefit. It doesn't look like Natalie Portman at all. They can't make a model that looks like Natalie Portman, not my problem. But, I mean, she's a very easy journey. Her utility kind of goes across the board. She is needed for Lord Vader, of course. So I don't know. I'm just not super impressed with Padme these days. I mean, maybe I'm out of my water there. Palpatine's up next. He's still a character that's relevant. He ends up on a Star Killer team later on. His journey's very easy, especially with Phoenix. I did it with all Gear 7 Phoenix, I think. Pretty easy to get through his journey. He's required for Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. He's required for Sith Eternal. He goes on a Star Killer team. I might be underrating him a little bit. I kind of put him down here because his journey's pretty easy to get through. But Palpatine is a character that maintains utility all the way through the game, really. And again, required for 2 Galactic Legends. I think all these guys have been required for Galactic Legends so far. This is where I might start getting in trouble. I don't know. Dr. Aphra. You know, there's a whole group of these journeys like the middle journeys with like Jar Jar, Dr. Aphra, Balin Skull, Inquisitors, and Starkiller, where they have some good teams, but they're not really required. Like you don't farm those and then expect to use them to go get a Galactic Legend or anything else in the game. Feels like maybe they're going to build us to something and require all the, I don't know. And I know some people use Dr. Aphra to counter Jabba in Grand Arena, and that's about it. Like, she doesn't have a lot of... I can't remember if there's a rote thing for her. There might be a rote thing for Dr. Aphra. There's a bundle that came out for her here lately. I've been doing a lot of roster reviews. Very, very, very rarely will I say to somebody, go get your Aphra done. I just think she's kind of a lost character at this point. She's okay. She comes in really low for me. I'm not really excited. Hey, the Chimera. This is Thrawn ship, the Chimera. Now, I'm not saying this is not an effective late game ship. Even in the end game, there are uses for it. But I see a lot of people unlocking the Chimera early and not really having much other than the TIE Bomber, the TIE Fighter, and Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. So there's not a lot, people have a Chimera unlocked and then not really doing much with it because you really need the TIE Defender in there to do anything special. And eventually TIE Interceptor and the Scythe, which has all come late end game. It's pretty easy to unlock if you get the Phantom and the Ghost out there. I don't know. Chimera's good. I'm not saying it's not good. It just doesn't really get me excited, especially when people take forever to get all the Empire ships you need to really make the Chimera work for you. Beskar Mando. Again, here we go. I might take some heat here, but he's got some places to use him in the game, especially with his damage immunity. His Whistling Birds aren't all that great anymore because you don't really get a chance to use them all that often. But mostly he's there because he's required for the Executor. You have to have Beskar Mando to activate the Razor Crest, so he's a required farm for the Executor, which is an important ship. But, and his journey is it's not the easiest in the world, but you get a Lightspeed bundle, you overcome it. Beskar Mando, he's doing okay, but, still bottom third, I guess, of the journeys there, non-Galactic Legend journeys. I'm going to get started. This is where the fun begins, right here. Some of you guys are going to lay into me. A lot of you guys farm Cal Kestis early in the game. I don't get why you do that. I do get why you do that. You love Cal Kestis. You love Jedi Fallen Order. You love Jedi Survivor. You love the characters. So you go and you're doing some other normal stuff, and then you go farm Cal Kestis early on. He's one of those journeys that doesn't require a bunch of relic characters, like there's no relic requirements for his unlock. But if you don't have a good Jedi team around him, or really Jedi Master Luke, he goes on a Jedi Master Luke team for the most part, you don't really have a lot of places to use Jedi Knight Cal in the game. I know there is a road special mission for him, so that's one place and one thing that you guys are going to point out to me. I just don't get excited about Cal Kestis here. He comes in higher than Bam. I consider rating him even lower, but I thought I might really face the mob at that point, so I bring him in here, still toward the bottom. He's doing okay, but still toward the bottom. Bo-Katan, all three of these guys, when you look at these, I mentioned here a moment ago, Dr. Aphra, and then when you get into Beskar Mando, when you get into Dr. Aphra, Cal Kestis, Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, and Bo-Katan Mandalore, that's kind of what I'm talking about. These middle tier journeys. Actually, Bo-Katan Mandalore is listed as like a final tier journey, which I don't agree with at all. Now, she's got some countering ability in Grand Arena. She could use it against Jabba. She could do some good stuff for you. I'm not saying she's bad. But if you remember when Bo-Katan Mandalore came out, they started re-releasing her event every single month for a while. Like, it was every month, re-release. Like Jar Jar, you only see once a quarter. Balin Skull is only once a quarter. Jedi Knight Cal, once a quarter. 4 times in a year. She was every month on the dot because people just weren't really excited about the character and about getting her unlocked. And she's got some utility. I just, whatever. Bo-Katan Mandalore coming in there. And there's another one. This is another one of these journeys that comes in where it's like, I love Jar Jar. I like that team a lot. They're great. They could do some things against like Jabba the Hutt. Have I said that for everybody? They all take on Jabba the Hutt? Is that what's going on here? But like, they don't plug in anywhere else in the game. It's Gungans. You use the Gungans together, and then if you don't use the Gungans, you don't. And if you 3v3, you have one Gungan team and not another. There's not 6 Gungans. There's 5. Just kind of some stuff lacking with this and not really taking you a lot of places. I love Jar Jar. I was very excited to have him in the game. I'm still very excited. I enjoy the team. It's a lot of fun. I just think it belongs down here in the bottom half of the journeys. The Millennium Falcon. You need it to unlock Jedi Knight Luke, which is very, very important. You're going to need it in your Profundity lineup, even though it's not required. We're starting to get to the middle here, and I started to have trouble ranking these things. If you don't have Profundity, you don't really use the Falcon anywhere. Maybe in a negotiator fleet. But if you don't have Profundity on your roster, the Falcon just kind of sits there looking pretty. Well, I'm sorry. If you don't have the Profundity on your roster, the Falcon just kind of sits there looking like a hunk of junk, a piece of space junk. It can float away with the rest of the garbage, and nobody would notice. So until Profundity, it's not really useful. That's why it comes in here. Why I ranked it above these other ones is because you do need it for a couple of those journeys. For Jedi Knight Luke, it's really important. And Jedi Knight Luke, as you're going to see later on, is very, very important. Jedi Knight Revan comes in next. I actually like Jedi Knight Revan a lot. It's not a super expensive or difficult farm. You use his team all the way through the game until you get Jedi Knight Luke, and then he goes on Jedi Master Luke. He'll go on a 5v5 Jedi Master Luke team. If he's not, he'll make his own team. You need Jedi Knight Revan to unlock Darth Malik, who's required for Leviathan. 2 more journeys coming along the way. I just like Jedi Knight Revan, and I really think with the bundles, the Lightspeed bundles that came out recently for Jedi Knight Revan and Darth Revan, they've started to take on a lot more they've come back to more prominence. Like, they had faded from the farming guides and everything for a while, but the Lightspeed bundles kind of brought them back here, where it's like, hey, $10 for Jedi Knight Revan, $10 for Darth Revan, you get them both. Bang it out, man. Go get those guys. They're really, really good. And they lead you a lot of places. I brought Baylan Skoll in here. I've been having fun with Baylan Skoll. I think this is gonna get me in trouble for sure. A lot of you guys think Baylan Skoll is trash. I enjoy playing Grand Arena. I have been consistently beating Queen Amidala teams with him. I did it today even without the Baylan Skoll Kron. So I'm bringing Baylan Skoll in higher than a bunch of these other guys that you might have him ranked below. I realize he's still difficult to farm. It's all still single shard farms to get him. I'm just really enjoying playing with Baylan Skoll in the game, so I'm going to rank him here. Have at it. Have at it in the comments. CLS. Now, this is in the second tier of journeys, and actually, if I look back here, it's been a minute since I mentioned. I think the Millennium Falcon is in that tier. Other than that, it's like Beskar Mando's in that tier as well. But CLS, he's so good, dude. He's so good. Still, 7.5, 8 years later, he's so good. When you get his team together, they're so good. Plus, he's required for Jedi Knight Luke, which opens up a whole world. He's required for Leia. He's required for the entire Jedi Knight Luke farm, which is, Leia, Jabba, and Jedi Master Luke. You have to have CLS done to get that done. He's really valuable. His journey isn't that difficult. His team is really good. I really, really, really still love the CLS journey today. He's kind of fallen. He's above center on this. I love CLS. I really, really do. And if you're going to have CLS, you got to have Chewbacca to go along with him. Now, Chewbacca comes in a little bit ahead. I'm not sure why I did that. You need him on that CLS team, and again, he's going to fall into those requirements for Jedi Master Luke. I don't think he's required for Leia Organa, but you're going to have to get him. He's required for Jedi Knight Luke, which means he's required for Jabba. CLS and Chewbacca really go together like shamalama ding dong. I really love these two. They make a great team, a great pair, and Han makes a great pair, but he's in the not really even a journey. I wouldn't even consider him a journey anymore in the game. But, you throw Han in there. They're just doing great stuff. You get CLS guarded. I love Chewie. I love Chewie. He's amazing. Starkiller. I'm bringing in Starkiller above those guys. His journey is challenging. It's 4 characters that all need Chirotex, but you can buy the bundle. You farm Mara Jade, and she goes on his team every single time with Palpatine, Mara Jade, and Starkiller in there. He's really, really, really good. If you get Juhani with her Omicron, he works in both Grand Arena and Territory Wars. The one drawback for Starkiller is the characters that you use with him and his farm doesn't really overlap in a lot of places. Dash Rendar goes for Profundity. Dash Rendar goes for Profundity. Dash Rendar's ship goes for Jabba. Mara's not required for anything. Darth Talon's not required for anything. He's just a really, really, really good performer. He's like just under Galactic Legends, and that's why I'm going to rank him up here in the top half. I love Starkiller. I really do. Inquisitors. I thought about putting them much lower. I really did. Like below CLS at least. That's not much lower, but that's lower. I feel like I might have taken a beating for that. I don't know. I've got them here. They have an assault battle, which Tuscan's also working, but they have an assault battle. They have Reva. They have the Scythe. But the investment for the Inquisitor is so massive. It's 2,000 Kyrotex to get Grand Inquisitor unlocked. It's another 400 to get him upgraded. Then you got to go get Reva. That's another 400. And I think it might be 500 for one of those characters as well. Zetas, Omicrons, you need a lot of juice to get the Inquisitors to work. That's why they're not ranked higher. I thought about doing them lower. I just think they deserve their spot here, especially with that assault battle going. And Reva's really, really, really good. So, Darth Revan. Hey, Darth Revan, cheap farm. You can get it for $10 in a bundle, or you can farm him. It's not a hard farm. It really isn't. He's not difficult to activate. And he's going to be your Admiral for your Leviathan. Yes, apparently it makes no canonical sense, and really makes no sense since you got to get Darth Malak for the farm anyway. So why did they just make Darth Malak in charge? Whatever. Darth Revan is your boy for Leviathan. It's a great team. When you get Darth Malgus on the team, he does even more stuff. He's a really, really good character in multiple game modes early on. Later on, it becomes more like Grand Arena or Bust. But yeah, Darth Revan is so good. Not a difficult farm. A cheap bundle. Leviathan required. And if you're going to talk about Darth Revan, if you give a mouse a cookie, you're going to need Darth Malak as well. They go together, again, like the Shamalama Ding Dong. I've said it twice. I'm going to stop saying Shamalama Ding Dong now. Malak comes in. I would just put these guys side by side, honestly. Malak, you might find some uses for him on some other teams as well, or a solo artist in early rounds of Grand Arena. I think that day has kind of passed us by for the most part. These guys just go together, and they are needed at Relic 9 to get the Leviathan. Really great journeys, really great teams, a lot of fun characters. A lot of you guys love KOTOR. I put Darth Revan and Darth Malak up here. Yeah, they're in like we're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're talking number 7 and number 8 here as far as the journeys go. I don't have the backwards count going. Now, some of you guys might be scratching your heads right now and wondering, what in the world is C-3PO doing up at the top of these rankings? Not the very top, but the top. I think you're all underestimating what C-3PO does in the game. Yeah, he's a lifter for that CLS team, and that's really where he goes. He could lift up some Galactic Legend teams along the way if you really want to throw him around and do some things there. He's pretty easy to unlock. We did it just last week with Gear 7 Ewoks with Princess Nisa and no Wicket, no Zetas. We got him unlocked. It's a journey. It can be a pain in the butt if you take in low gear Ewoks, but you can get it done. It's still a fairly easy journey. C-3PO is required for Jabba. C-3PO is required for Jedi Master Luke. C-3PO is required for Jedi Knight Luke. You're going to need C-3PO farmed if you go get Leia Organa, plus you got to farm 3 Ewoks to get to Leia Organa. So there's the entire Jedi Knight Luke farming path that pretty much all overlaps with and or requires C-3PO. There's more. C-3PO is required for gas. And gas is required for Lord Vader, and gas is required for Galactic Legend Ahsoka. C-3PO overlaps and or is required for 5 different Galactic Legends in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. He opens up a world of opportunity on your roster, and as such, I have him ranked right here at number 6 on the non-Galactic Legend journeys. Think about the things that C-3PO does for your roster in the game, and I think you'll start to agree with me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the comments are going nuts right now. C-3PO is so valuable, dude. So valuable. I bring in the Profundity next. The Profundity took a massive hit last year when the Punishing One came out. It used to be the Profundity and Executor were hand in hand. You know, they could go at each other 50-50 in Fleet Arena, you know, whatever. Punishing One, Executors walks all over the Profundity now. Now, the Profundity can still counter Leviathan. I've done it several times. I do it all the time on my Grand Arena stream. So it is a very valuable ship. It is an end game ship. but it's the lowest of the endgame ships right now. Maybe we'll get a lifter later this year. I still like Profundity. I never think, I've seen people farm Profundity as their first big capital ship. I don't think anybody should be doing that. I disagree with that move. But the Profundity still belongs up here at the top of these rankings. And they're going to lift it at some point. We'll see when that is, but I don't know. So we'll find out. Coming up next, Gas, General Skywalker, or General Anakin Skywalker, as we all added an A in there in the middle of his name. Gas is required for Ahsoka and Lord Vader, as we mentioned. Gas, with his 501st, is a great team that you'll use all the way to the end game. Mostly on offense. It used to be a great defensive team. Now it's really an offensive team because CLS just wipes it off the map. Take that Gas on offense. There's a lot of teams that can counter. It'll do a lot of good for you in Grand Arena. It's still effective in all the territory battles up to Rote. I don't think you can use it in Rote. But Gas is required, and it's even going to do a lot of overlapping with Jedi Master Kenobi. The farms that you do to get Gas, you're going to get GK, General Kenobi in there. You're going to get Shakti's in there. 3PO is required for Gas. We mentioned that earlier. But yeah, Gas is gonna do a lot of good for your roster in a lot of ways in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. He is still a premier. You know, they've really done a good job making the original trilogy farms center around Luke, the prequel farms center around Anakin and Obi-Wan Anakin and Obi-Wan, yeah. Anakin Gas is a great farm in this game. The 501st are great. He opens up a lot of windows. He's still really, really, really good. Jedi Knight Luke is coming in here at number 3. Jedi Knight Luke, as we mentioned earlier, opens up all of the original trilogy farming. He even overlaps with like the Profundity and the Executor, because you got to get bounty hunters. I think that's why I put Chewie higher than CLS. Now that I'm saying it, you got to get bounty hunters to unlock Chewie, and those bounty hunters go to bounty hunter ships, which you need for the Executor. Jedi Knight Luke is the key to 5 different farms with Jabba, with Leia Organa, not really Leia Organa directly, but indirectly, with Jedi Master Luke, with the Profundity, and I'm gonna keep doing the circle, and with the Executor. He overlaps with all those different farms in the game, and he just does really great stuff for you. He'll get you. He's the only character that'll get you through Challenge Tier 3 of Ground War Assault Battle. He's just really, really, really important in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. He is our most important. Gas and Jedi Knight Luke are our 2 most important character journeys, not non-galactic legend character journeys in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Coming in second, we're going to go to the Executor. Guys, if you aren't tired of hearing me talk about the Executor, then you don't watch this channel enough. This should be your first big farm on every roster in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes to get you to the top of Fleet Arena and hold you there for a long, long, long time. The Executor is super important. It's not really all that difficult of a farm for being as important as it is. Relic 8 Piet is your only Relic 8 in there. The Bounty Hunters, their ships. A couple of Empire, their ships. The Executor should be your target right from the get-go in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. It is a Fleet Arena monster. It'll be a Fleet Arena monster for you. It'll carry you to crystals every day in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes at the top 5 of Fleet Arena for at least 2 or 3 years until people start populating the next and the final and the top journey here, the Leviathan. I think a lot of us are fully expecting another big capital ship in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes this year. But until that ship comes, Leviathan is at the top of the heap. Leviathan sits at the top, and when Executor, when they launched Punishing One back in, what was it, November, and all of a sudden the Executor was really crushing Leviathan, they reworked Leviathan. They reworked TIE, well, not Leviathan directly, but they reworked TIE Dagger. Actually, they didn't rework TIE Dagger. They made sure people knew. They announced it. Put TIE Dagger in your starting lineup and the Punishing One will beat it. We're like, okay. Thanks for telling us what to put in our lineup, Capital Games. They also reworked the Scimitar, Darth Maul's ship, to come in there and really handle the Executor and just be it wasn't even being used before. Look, Leviathan is the #1 journey but it takes you time to get to unless you're going to go buy a bunch of stuff. You have to have Darth Malgus. You have to have the Fury class Interceptor. You can't get those unlocked until you're in Proving Grounds. And even when you start Proving Grounds, even if you buy the Conquest Pass, which doubles up your Proving Grounds every month, and you start doing that's 40 shards a month, it's going to be 9 months. It's 9 months minimum from your 4 million galactic power until you can get Darth Malgus and the Fury class Interceptor unlocked and go get the Leviathan. It is a late game farm for most of us. It's the best one. So there you go. That's my rankings of all the journeys, non-galactic legend journeys in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, top to bottom, bottom to top. We're going top to bottom now. Let me know what you think in comments. I'm sure there are a lot of great comments in here, and I really feel like in the middle, there are a lot of different ways I could have mixed up those middle like 10 farms for sure. But I feel good about this. If I don't feel like, I feel super strongly about some of it, like CLS and Jedi Knight Luke and Gas and everything, but I feel confident that I've made the right assessments for me in the game. Let me know what you think in comments. I'd love to hear from all of you guys. I hope you all have a great day. I will definitely talk to you soon. And of course, always remember, Nooch too good.